Hey everybody, this is Bert. And behind me you can see what I just got in the mail. The Vintage Collection HASLAB Razor Crest. So today we're going to do a little unboxing and review and comparison. We're going to compare to stills from the show. We're going to look at the previous HASLAB project, the Sail Barge, and compare to that. And we're going to compare the figures inside to the previous releases of those figures. So let's check it out.
No Skill Customs.
Now this whole video is done in order the way I see it, the way I've put it together and played around with it and stuff, except for this one thing. Okay, now that I'm done putting it all together and everything like that, I suggest before you go and assemble anything, like even the main engines, before you put that all on, you go and put all these guns in. Get a nice light, shine it down in here, take off this side panel, and of course pull down the ramp. And get these guns and thermal detonators in place, because they are tough, and I think if you have gravity working on your side, it'll be a lot easier. Another thing I want to suggest is there's not too many guns on the right hand side of the cabinet, which is nice because you got to kind of reach past this thing, or I don't know if you can. I mean, I'm a skinny guy, I don't know if I can even get my hands in there. You want to be able to see what you're doing. So I got the right hand guns in first, close the door, and then put the left hand side guns in, because it just made it easier for me to reach in there. About the thermal detonators right here, those are tough. Those are tough. I almost gave up and just put them in with my endless supply of random extra weapons. But what I ended up doing was actually kind of rolling them down this piece right here and kind of just turning them around in my finger. I tried a million times just kind of holding it in between my thumb and my finger, and I could not get it in there. So I roll it down here, and then I just kind of pushed it around with my finger until the hole in the thermal detonator fit on that peg, and I just pushed it in. So yeah, that's my one suggestion. Everything else you're going to see is in order the way I put it together. Pretty much I just followed the directions that they show you in the pamphlet, but I really suggest you do that first, okay? And then never touch them again. It's cool that they all come off, but I would never do it. I'm going to probably let my kids play with this, but they are not to touch the weapon rack. They're just going to leave it. All right, let's get on with the real review. We're going to start by comparing it to the Sail Barge here. First off, I haven't even opened my Razor Crest yet, but just by looking at the box, you can see that it takes up roughly 1/3 of the volume. So that might be upsetting to some people, especially considered it was 3/4 the price. Pretty much about $375 when you add in shipping or tax or whatever it was, versus the $500. Well, I guess the Sail Barge is more than $500 too, but so a little less than 3/4 of the cost. We'll see when we open it if that value adds up. Right off the bat, though, you can see the packaging of this thing is amazing. Just really great toy photography going on here. A little funny, they dropped the foil stamp of the HASLAB logo that was on the Sail Barge, and it's just printed in gray here. But the front and top of the package is all full color imagery. Look at this one right here. I mean, that right there, you could have told me that was a still from the movie, or from the TV show, except for the little stand holding up Baby Yoda there. It's definitely got me pretty excited about opening this bad boy up. Back, just like old school Kenner things, they have a black and white rendered image. Pretty nice there. And the same is true for the sides. And the bottom of the box shows the ship dismantled. Like everyone's favorite episode there, where the Jaws take it apart. A little dent right here, but I'm sure the contents are okay, and I'm not that upset about it. All right, you won't need a barge buddy this time like you did with the Sail Barge, but there is going to be a lot of tape to cut along these edges, and along the top here. I can already see some landing gear, some carbonite blocks. Got all those pieces out. We'll look at them a little more closely later. And I open it up, and I can smell the new toy smell immediately, which is fantastic. You see the two carded figures right here. We're going to take a look at all the figures at the end. Essentially, it's the Jawa and the Baby Yoda. All right, it's all opened here. Let's take a look at it all. We have the two clear pieces that are going to be part of the base, the two main guns, the landing gear. Here's a fun little batch of crates and goodies. There's the Mando figure with the cloth cape. There's 4 carbonite blocks, the 2 engines, the main body of the ship, and that base that we saw earlier. I'll tell you this, it's a way quicker setup than the sail barge. You pretty much just have to snap on these engines and the 2 main guns and put the base together. Very, very quick to assemble. This is, of course, it's set up on the base there, but you have the option of using the landing gear, which I'm going to try in just a second here. They did a great job making it so that it looks cool when it doesn't have landing gear in, but then it also looks very legit when you do have the landing gear in. So this one, you have to slide back that panel. For the side landing gear, you open up these 2 panels and you plug it in there. Just be careful when you're putting in the landing gear that you don't get it caught on the upper side, or the upper side of this piece right here. You want to make sure that the landing gear is going entirely underneath it. So if you didn't know this already from watching the many Hasbro videos, the real value of this maybe isn't so much from its size, but it's all these compartments and panels. You take off the top, you've got the escape pod in there, you press this button, you got another big panel, lets you look into the inside. Okay, here it is. I stripped all the panels off of it. This is ideal if you want to do that Jawa scene. They could have probably even had more panels removable if you really wanted to make it screen accurate. And here's the panels. I counted 19 of them, including there's one interior one, and I'm including the both parts of the escape pod in that too. After putting it together, it was fun taking everything apart. It mostly comes assembled, all these little panels and stuff, but you got the side ramp here. This ramp doesn't quite reach the ground when you open it up, so it does have an extension to bring it down to the ground level, actually kind of below ground level if you were going to park your vehicle a little high up on something. You got a bottom ramp, and inside you can see the couple little storage compartments. There's one over there, and then here's where you keep the weapons. I can't wait to load those guys up. Actually, here it is all loaded up right here. I did a little comparison shot so you could see how it matches up with what's seen in the movie. Once you get all the guns set up, you're going to realize you got a lot of bags kicking around, all from that bag earlier on. And the bags just kind of go on these little hooks on the interior, the inside panel of the main panel that's on the side of the ship. And they use the same sculpt a couple times, but they look pretty different. And it's colorful, it adds a lot of detail, and makes it more accurate to the TV show. By taking out that panel with all the bags on it, you can see this other wall opposite it, and that's got a couple of cargo nets. Now in the show, those cargo nets are really full of like crates and bins and boxes, but you can put a couple of your extra bags in there if you wanted to. They don't really give you many crates except for this one. But this is really designed for Grogu to sit in when he's in the front seat. And then here is the carbon freezing station. Now, just a little fun fact, it doesn't tell you this in the directions, because I'm one of those guys that likes to read the directions, but you can't actually open this up until the side panel right here is taken off. I thought for sure I had a flaw. Okay, but yeah, once you take that side panel off, this can open right up, and you can actually fit one of your carbon blocks right in there like that. Carbonite blocks are a great feature. You just hook them onto that top panel, and then the panel drops in like this. And you can see inside they're all kind of hanging there. All right, and then what's really cool is if you think about how we had them on the ship displayed in the show, they were all next to each other. So you can put them into these little, slide them down this track and fit them into the grooves. And actually, you know, I should show you this. When it's when you bring them all the way down the track, they're kind of hanging there just outside that ramp. There they go. They're all kind of slid in there. Very, very cool. The Carbonite blocks are super accurate based on the first episode of The Mandalorian. You see the Rodian character. There's 2 humans, a female and a male. And then finally you have the Mithril himself, all frozen in carbonite. My only thing is, I mean, the sculpting is fantastic. I just wish they just put a little paint on the sides, make all those little buttons and stuff. You know, obviously making them all glow would be quite a bit, but make them colorful at least. I mentioned this top panel right here reveals like a little gun, which I don't know if he used that in the show or not before it got all blown up. But that's kind of just, you know, a fun little extra feature in the back there. All right, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the Jawa scene or some other scene, so I'm going to put all those panels back on here. And then we'll take a look and compare the actual toy here against the actual model that was used in the show. They had to do some compromising to make this into a toy. For one thing, if you remember the first episode there, it's very clear that there's 2 levels to this ship. The Mithril actually goes down a ladder to get to that back section. That was really kind of impossible to make it just that absolutely huge. And so when you compare the real model to the toy, you can see the toy feels a little bit wider and not quite as tall, a little more chunky, I guess. But really not so noticeably that it looks bad. It still looks absolutely amazing, especially just the finish on it. If you look at the finish compared to the real model from the show, it's perfect. It's really dead on. Here I've tried to match it up to a few screenshots, and you can see, you know, despite the compromises in scale that they had to do, they really matched things up pretty well. Did an awesome job with those engines too. Made them, even though they don't actually light up, made them look like they're glowing all the time. In the front view, you can really see the differences between where they had to change it proportionally, but the other views, maybe just a little bit at the front end, not getting as narrow looking as it is in the show, but it really holds up pretty well. How's the Razor Crest stack up against the sail barge, Hasbro's previous HASLAB offering for Star Wars? Well, you know, I gotta admit I have a biased opinion here because I've been, you know, prior to the release of the sail barge, I'd been hoping for that for 35 plus years. Whereas the Razor Crest, yeah, sure, I hoped they'd made a toy, but that was like maybe a year and a half of my interest. So, I mean, the sail barge, so much bigger, so much heavier, but comparable in terms of detail on the inside. They each have the big pain in the butt parts to get on that you might need to get like a little child to help you with. Okay, for the sail barge, it was the chains and the jail cell. And then for the Razor Crest, it was all those guns. But, I mean, it's a great toy, the Razor Crest. I love it. It's pretty awesome. Can't wait to put it in my Star Wars room. But value-wise, I feel like the sail barge beats it out. Maybe is a, like, collectible display value, the sail barge beats it out. But maybe as play value, I let my kids play with the sail barge for the first couple days after I got it, and I was just so nervous it was going to break, especially the sails, and there's little details on the outside, and maybe that's just part of the design of the ship. But the Razor Crest just seems a lot sturdier. I kind of envision, you know, me taking it down off the shelf for my kids just about every time they come in the room. And I literally will not let them play with my sail barge. No way. So, and you know what? I gotta admit, the kids, they like the new Star Wars content better than the old stuff. I know I kind of feel like a failure as a father here, but it's true, they would rather watch The Mandalorian than Return of the Jedi. So I know my kids will enjoy this much more. Okay, but like I said, I'm not going to let them take a single gun off that gun rack. All right, now we're going to take a look at the figures. If you look, the Off-World Jawa Elder is exactly the same as the previously released Off-World Jawa. Comes with all the same weapons with a couple of additional things. It comes with the necklace, the knife, and an open little egg there. Here's the Grogu that comes with the set. You'll notice he comes with the vac metal pram. Really kind of cool. I didn't expect it to be so dark. I gotta watch the series again because I didn't remember it being that dark, but I do like the look of it. And there he is. If you compare him, I got all my other previous Grogus out here. And if you compare his face, you can see that he looks like he's smiling. The rest of them are, various different expressions. Let's see, I think I have one more, yeah. And so yeah, he appears to be, he's at least got his mouth open. I guess that's supposed to be him smiling there. And I believe he has the ball molded onto his hand. If you look real closely down there. The little knob from the Razor Crest interior. Yeah. Now I'm not opening any of these toys because I'll be perfectly honest, I don't think they're different enough to warrant, given their inherent value by their rarity, I don't think they're different enough to warrant me opening them. They were numbered HAS 1 and HAS 2. Imagine it's HASLAB numbering. And on your left here, you can see the bagged Mandalorian figure that came with. As near as I can tell, the only difference between him and the original vintage collection Beskar Armor Mandalorian is that he has the fabric cape, which is cool, and obviously that's what will allow him to sit in the Razor Crest, because this rubber plastic cape is kind of awkward to have a character sit with. Now here are some setups using based on different stills from the TV show. I want you to keep in mind for all these shots, none of these figures are actually the three that came with the Razor Crest, because I'm not opening any of those three. And so when you see the Mandalorian, these are versions of the Mandalorian that have the rubbery plastic cape, and I left it on. It works just fine. You could take the cape off entirely if you wanted to, but I thought his neck area looks a little weird. Here you can see the child in his little in that crate, just so you can see how that works and matches up to the show too. So here it is in its place in my Star Wars room here. I'm not really sure if this is the way I'm going to keep things or not. I had planned, actually, the whole time up until it arrived, I planned on maybe doing either the Jawa scene and having pieces and Jawas all over, maybe putting my Sandcrawler over there, or I planned on doing the ice snow spiders scene. But looking at the interior and the Carbonite blocks, I like all that stuff too much to just leave it kind of buried inside the ship. So I decided to have the panels open, and it became kind of like all the Mandalorian sort of display here, where every scene is kind of mentioned or shows up a little bit. Some things that are glaring omissions in the Mandalorian toy line. Now that I have this ship, we really need Mayfeld and all the guys from that episode. We really need that frog creature. Those things would be really handy. And then also I need to go. Disney World needs to restock those giant ice spiders, so I can put a giant ice spider or two on the very top of this thing. My bro Nipper went to Disney, and that was the only thing I wanted him to find for me. Actually, maybe there was a couple things, but everything I asked him to find for me was all sold out and gone. So hopefully they bring those back. But all in all, I'm pretty impressed with this ship. It's a fun little play set. I hope you guys enjoyed my little tour of it and comparison. video here. And if you did, like and subscribe. I got many more videos just like this and a lot more things around the corner. We'll see ya.